Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here. This is going to be a lengthy video request, and don't worry, I did charge for it. It's a sad story, but I'm going to read through this somewhat briefly. I'm 29 years old, parents divorced when I was 11, saw my dad on the on and off years. Mother and father have been going at it in divorce court since 1994 to the present day. My father owns a few real estate firms here in Canada and is very wealthy. He has homes all over the world, exotic cars, and lives like a king. Got remarried to more boys. My mother and I have never got along, nor has she with anyone for that matter. She's extremely narcissistic, investigative, conniving, and spiteful. She starts wars and burns bridges with everyone she meets, only cares about money and social class. Same can be said for my dad on the last part. I also have a 20-year-old sister who's basically a clone copy of my mother. Anyway, 3 years ago I decided to get back in touch with my dad because I genuinely missed him. Mother was insulting me, hit me, or throw things at me. Okay, so your mom's abusive. Me and the dad reconnect. Very inviting me, welcoming him back to life, going on trips to his Florida homes, etc. Him and his new wife sit me down one day and asked me if I would be willing to give them any info to use in court against my mother. I told them, no, I'm not here for that. It's not my war. They say that's fine, and life carried on. Then one day my dad comes to me and says he's got a great investment for me. A house his, quote, friends are renovating close by that he could get a great deal on, help build me up some equity, and make a buck when I flip it. I had no reason not to trust him. He was my dad, and this was his business for the last 30 years. I was reluctant to buy a home at the time since my job was very precarious, even though I was making almost $70,000 a year. He convinced me it was an awesome deal and that I would make a ton of money and to trust him. God, I hate just these parents that... I know this is one side of the coin, but honest to God... You gotta remember, guys, older is not better. Older just means sometimes more conniving, and especially in the employment world. I couldn't say no, so I didn't. My dad's wife is a mortgage broker. Well, they're moral. So she put together my mortgage. One of my dad's good old buddy who was a lawyer closed the deal. Same lawyer, ironically, he's been using to fight my mom in court. My dad then convinces me not to get an inspection done because the house doesn't need it, and I can trust his friends since they work on million-dollar homes all the time. Like a naive fool, I trusted him. He's my dad, right? So the deal gets done, and I move in. The very first day I move in, I find nothing works. Washer dryer is broken, water heater is broken, stove is broken, fridge leaking water everywhere, furnace won't turn on, and my basement flooded with raw sewage after flushing the toilet once. And I called my dad with no response ever again. The first day I moved into this house was the last day I heard from my dad again. Reality began to sink in when I began to realize my own father just hassled me. It crushed me. Long story short, after doing some research of my own, I learned that I overpaid for the property by about $40,000. I also had an inspection done that revealed the home needed another $50,000 in repairs. Further, I found out from the neighbors that the previous owner of the home was a hoarder that committed suicide in the bedroom I was now sleeping in. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. A few years before that, there was also a murder in the house. A guy killed his girlfriend, rolled her up in a carpet, and left her in the closet for a week. None of this was disclosed to me by my dad, as he was the listing and selling agent. Shortly after I lost my job, as I feared, and couldn't make the mortgage payments. I was forced to move back with my evil mother and sister who couldn't give two shits about what I was going through. I ran the house to tenants that later turned out to be the tenants from hell and purposely destroyed the house. I had no more money to sink into this house to fix it, nor would I ever see my money back if I kept it for 30 years either. So I decided to walk away, and as a result I've gone bankrupt. I reported my dad, his wife, and my lawyer to all the governing bodies and even the police. No one did anything, even though I had stacks of proof of the fraud they committed. Turns out they also forged my signature and stole an additional $33,000 from the government for a HST rebate? I don't know what that means. And the house didn't qualify for. Another $20,000 of my mortgage was paid out to a builder that had nothing to do with my transaction. A real estate lawyer told me what they did to me is called the Oklahoma swindle, where all three parties involved need to be in on it. They also told me it would be pointless to go after them because cases like this are a money pit, money I didn't have anyway. My credit is now destroyed. I'm struck living with my mother, who makes my days agonizing, starting fights over nothing, bullying, same old, same old. I recently got engaged to my girlfriend of 7 years and bought her a ring with the only money I had left. She's been the only one to stick by me, help me, and care for me through all this. My mom doesn't like her because she's black and is a racist cunt. Okay, so your mom is a racist cunt. It's not your fiance is a racist cunt. My mother doesn't even acknowledge her or want her around the house. Well, tough shit for her. My relationship with my fiance is also being strained due to my mother. I can't move in with my fiance because she lost her job not too long ago due to company downsizing and had to move back in her mom's one-bedroom apartment. I feel so fucking helpless right now. I don't have a job and can't get anything that pays close to what I was making because my credit is shut. My stress levels are through the roof. I can't sleep. I don't eat. I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. I lost my car. The economy is collapsing. Fuck. I feel like years of my life have been robbed, and so has my youth. This shit will stay with me for 7 years now. I'll be almost 40 before I can start getting things back together. I can't even start a family for now. How badly I've been fucked by my own father. I had great credit before all this and about $25,000 in the bank, which is all gone. There's a lot more to this story, but believe me, this is the condensed version. How do I get out of this? I feel so fucked and cornered. I don't know which direction to move in. Give it straight to me, man. If you can make it a video response, that'd be great. Just don't use my last name. Thank you, Chris. All right, Chris. Here's the thing. You need context. And I'm not going to say this to make you feel better. I'm saying this because this is true. You need context. You are doing better than most people. And the reason why is you got a girl that you love. And the girl loves you. It sounds like, I don't know much about the personalities or how the relationship is going. But that's it. You got it. The rest of it is bullshit. The rest of it doesn't matter. Do you like the girl? Does she like you? That's all you really need. I hate to sound so schmaltzy, all you need is love, but that's pretty much all you really need. The rest of it, I know this sounds so simple, because you got screwed over, let it go. Just let it go. You say, well, how do I let it go? Well, here's the thing, you got to put things in perspective. Men bust their asses off, lift weights, work hard, blah, 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 to find the most attractive girl. You have already found that, and despite all the shit you went through, this girl's still sticking by you. That's good. This girl is also going through tough times as well. I think you two can actually help each other out. And anyway, a larger point I'm making is that all the work that you would normally do to, quote, attract the hottest, most, mate that you could possibly find has been rendered moot and pointless. You already found her. Okay? Now, what you got to do is look at your future. You have to realize whatever happened has happened. You got schnookered, no doubt about it. You did. But now you got to look forward, and you already have the largest, most best piece of your life accomplished. You got yourself that girl. The rest is easy. All you got to do, you just get to spend time with each other. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. But you guys have to start looking at your life together. I don't know why you're living with your mom. If you filed for bankruptcy, or why, I know why you're living with your mom, well, if I can knock that shit off right now. You and your fiance go find an apartment together. Find some cheap place to go rent. And that means you're going to have to get some kind of job. I know that your credit is shot. I understand that. Explain to the employer it's going to be an uphill battle, but you need to get some kind of job, any kind of job. It ain't going to pay 70 grand. That's all right. Find a fucking job. You and your girlfriend go find jobs, no matter what it is. Find it so you can get out of your parents' place. Then you don't have to worry about the mental stress that your mom and your sister are causing you. And you can get on with your life. Now, here's the other thing. You don't need credit. Are you ever going to buy a house again? I don't know if you should. You guys don't have kids. I don't think you need a house. I don't think until you have kids, will you ever need a house? And a lot of people, I need to get a house. No, you don't. You really don't need to get a house. You say, oh, I have bad credit. Are you going to borrow money? Like right now, it's kind of funny. Someone could ruin my credit and it won't matter to me because I'm never borrowing money again. I already have a mortgage. I pay cash for my cars. Always pay, even no matter how poor I was, I always paid cash for my cars, shitty as they were. And people are like, oh, you might ruin your credit. I don't give a shit. Ruin my credit. I'm never going to borrow money again. So you don't worry about, unless like you needed to buy a house, which that sounds like the last thing on your mind, don't worry about your credit. The only thing affecting you right now is employment, which I admit that's going to cause problems, but please just find a job so that you and your fiance can have your own apartment, your own place, and move on with your life. Okay, so that's it. Your parents sound like absolute shitbirds, even if, you know, again, every coin has a side, or every story has two sides. But I would frankly change your name. I would disown your parents. I would change your name. I'd never find, obviously your dad, you'd never find him again. Change your name, okay? Restart your whole life over, okay? I know you're 29, I know you think you wasted your youth. And some of it you did, but everybody wastes some of their youth. But start new, man. Change your name. Go marry that girl. Get your own apartment. Find a job. That's what you gotta do. Now, another thing. Your bankruptcy or your bad credit. I know it is bad. I know it certainly is not helping you with your employment, but I think that's becoming the new normal. Most people did file for bankruptcy. Most people do have credit problems. This is not like 1950 where people had their shit together and people weren't screwing each other over every other day. I think the millennials and Gen X, like I know a lot of people who filed for bankruptcy, they had their homes repossessed, they went into foreclosure, all this other stuff. They still managed to find jobs because I think there was so much of it during the financial crisis, it is no big deal. Right? So you're not as tainted as you think you are. Go out there and keep applying for jobs. Just find it. Otherwise, the only thing that's the concrete financial steps you can take. But for the rest of it, the amount of emotional and psychological torment and damage you've gone through, I'd go talk to a therapist. Because, you know, your girlfriend is there for you too, but I think you would do well if you talk to a therapist. And I know therapists and psychologists aren't cheap. They do cost money. See if there's something like some kind of government program, or talk to your local church or mosque or synagogue. Talk to your local religious person. They, people of the cloth will also do therapy on the cheap. But, you know, also don't be a douche about it. Do make a donation to whatever religious institution you may be attending. And just to get it out and deal with the psychological aftermath and trauma you've just gone through. Because it's one thing easy for me to say decades after all the shit I went through. Yeah, just fucking go move on with your life. It's another thing to actually do that. So I can, here's the roadmap. I told you what to do. Get out of the house. Find a job, put things in perspective and context, realize you don't need credit, your credit is ultimately irrelevant, realize again by the age of 29, you're not doing any worse than anyone else, you haven't really wasted your youth any more than anyone else does, everybody else, that's the context, but I can't get you to walk down that path, you have to do that yourself, and to make yourself ultimately feel better. So, again, talk to the therapist, talk to the religious person, talk to your girlfriend or fiance, put together a plan, and then on top of it, try to do some, not meditation, but sit and think things through. Think this through. I'm not going to buy a house, I'm not going to get a new car, blah, blah, blah. Then don't worry about your credit. So that's one big problem gone. I hate my mom, I hate my family. You're going to move out with your girlfriend, that's another problem gone. I don't have to piss away any more time at the nightclubs or whatever trying to find a girl or dealing with drama and any of the other crap, and I got a girl that really likes me. That's a fourth huge hurdle down and done. My girlfriend's black and it pisses off my mom because she's racist. Fifth problem done. And then I think once you realize that and you got good trustworthy people in your life, or at least you cut out the assholes, you and your girlfriend could put together a game plan. Sit down, put together a game plan. That's going to give you a target and a goal, and that'll give you a hope and repurpose you and give you agency in life. And I think you'll realize that down the road a little bit, you're going to be in a lot better mood, a lot happier when you take inventory of what you got and knowing that you're not going to make any more mistakes like this ever again. So that's all I got. I feel really bad. Again, I can't just turn the switch on and make you feel better. I could give you the path that will get you there, though. But really, don't worry about it. You're not in that bad a shape. You just aren't. Even though you got screwed over, I understand. You're not in that bad a shape. So go enjoy your life with your fiancé. And tell her where we say hi here over at Asshole Consulting. Toodles.